When Bret Hart was planning to leave the WWF in 1997 after signing a contract to WCW prior to the Montreal Screwjob at the Survivor Series, it looked as though WCW was in position to permanently eclipse the WWF, if not put them out of business. WCW appeared to possess the biggest stars in the industry, such as Hogan, Savage, Sting, Flair, Hart, Hall and Nash. In addition, the company had credible midcard stars such as Chris Jericho, Eddie Guerrero, Chris Benoit, Dean Malenko, and Raven, as well as an exciting cruiserweight division featuring high-flying international competition from Mexico and Japan, where the high-flying style of wrestling was popularized. However, things would not unfold as WCW had planned. Turner sought to capitalize on WCW's momentum by launching a new Thursday night show on TBS WCW Thunder in January '98. Popular opinion was that the Screwjob and WCW's subsequent acquisition of Hart were death blows for the WWF. WCW had a golden opportunity to capture the allegiances of WWF fans who were disenchanted with the company after its poor treatment of the popular star. But according to Hart, the company failed to capitalize on his talent and momentum, and had no idea how to properly utilize him. Vince McMahon had described Hart as the kind of wrestler who a promoter builds his whole company around, but WCW generally used him as a midcarder. Their biggest hope was that Hart would help create inroads in foreign markets such as his native Canada, Germany, and the United Kingdom. Bischoff contends that due to the events of Montreal, Hart's passion and desire for the business was not as it was during his WWF heyday. Montreal had taken his toll on him, Bischoff stated in his autobiography. It was all he talked about, constantly. Furthermore, Hart would suffer an injury during a match with Goldberg that forced him into retirement. In any event, Hart's WCW tenure failed to live up to expectations. As WCW coasted with the same basic formula they had been following, McMahon set about revamping his creative approach and set in motion events that later put his company ahead of WCW for good. Under the WWF Attitude moniker, he elevated rising stars like Steve Austin, The Rock, Triple H and his DX group, Mankind, and Kane. After Starrcade, Sting's presence on WCW's main card would begin to fade as he became an afterthought to the split-up of the NWO. As a result, his drawing power would decrease in the coming months. Meanwhile, Austin's popularity and stardom sparked a turnaround in Monday Night Raw's ratings as he quickly became the WWF's franchise player. Ironically, it was WCW that had given Austin his first national exposure. But Bischoff did not see him as marketable and ultimately fired him in '95. McMahon himself, after having played in a supporting role on camera as the play-by-play announcer, capitalized on the ill will he received from fans for screwing Bret Hart by turning himself into an on-screen villain. The Mr. McMahon heel character feuded with babyface wrestlers and used his influence to screw them out of wins and titles. Austin's feud with McMahon began to turn the tide in the WWF's favor. The April 13, 1998 episode of Raw, headlined by a match between Austin and McMahon, marked the first time that WCW lost the head-to-head Monday Night ratings battle in 84 weeks. WWF ratings began an ascent to highs previously unheard of in wrestling on cable television. WCW attempted to counter this by dividing the NWO into the Hogan-led heel NWO Hollywood faction and the Nash-led face NWO Wolfpack faction, but this was seen by many fans as a poor rehash of the WCW vs. NWO storyline of old, with boring predictable matches and vignettes.